And what is up, guys? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. We are live and amplified here on Wednesday night, and we are exactly 1 week away from Christmas. So we still got a lot to talk about here on the Inland Sports Show tonight, so we appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching the show live right now, and I know you are, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate it. We're right on the cusp of 4,000 subs on YouTube. We appreciate it. We post a lot of our content on social media as well, but we go hard on YouTube, so please subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate it. Again, coming up on this show, we're going to talk high school football with the brand new head coach at Jurupa Hills, Cade Sparks. He takes over for the great Tommy Leach. And Cade, obviously a well-known name in the Inland Empire, star quarterback for the Summit Skyhawks. Had several coaching stops along the way, Aquinas, Summit as well, notably. So we've got an exclusive interview with Coach Sparks coming up. We're also going to hear from Daniel Carlin. He is the head boys basketball coach for Vista Murrieta. The Broncos just had a big-time tournament, Murrieta Mania, with a lot of great teams, a team from Australia. In fact, they've played not one but two teams from down under already this season, and they picked up some big wins, including one against Linfield Christian just last night. They got a huge game coming up against Etiwanda to get them ready for the gauntlet of Southwestern League play. So we got those two interviews. We'll also hear from Daron Tyson from some San Gorgonio football. Made his college choice. He's also trying to go out and win a CIF track and field title in the 100 meters as well. We're going to hear from Daron. We got some Riverside Poly girls basketball as well, and highlights of that big game between Rialto and Indian Springs boys soccer. But we're going to start things off right now with some football. We love some football here on the Inland Sports Show. Again, Cade Sparks taking over for Jurupa Hills, and he's excited. He's a Fontana guy, and he's ready to get his hands dirty and try to bring a winner back to the Hills. Here is head coach Cade Sparks. Inland Sports. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. He is a brand new head football coach here in the area, taking over at Jurupa Hills, but obviously a very familiar name. It is Cade Sparks. And Cade, first off, congratulations on getting the Jurupa Hills gig. How excited are you to just kind of get your hands dirty and get in there and start building for next season?
Thanks, Pep. Honestly, super excited. This is something I've wanted to do since I played high school football. I knew when I was a senior in high school that I wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to coach football, So really all glory goes to God. He's guided me throughout my journey. And now I'm here. It seems like in a blink of an eye, and now it's time to get to work. Like you said, getting the hands dirty, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But I'm really excited for the future, and I'm excited for what we're going to be able to offer to the kids that take part in the Spartan football program.
Cade, that's a perfect segue into my next question, because obviously if you're a local football fan, they remember you quarterbacking Summit not too long ago.
Yep.
But a lot of guys will have that story where, I knew in the back of my mind, even when I was a player, I was going to be a coach. It sounds like you kind of felt that same way, right? You loved football. You loved being around football. You kind of always knew, especially at the quarterback position, you felt like, hey, I'm probably going to be in the game for a long time, whether it's a player or as a coach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I definitely, that was something that I knew at a young age, and then it kind of got the bug right when I was done playing ball. And I'm going to have the bug for a long time, I think.
So, Cade, who are your coaching influences? Because I know you've made stops at Aquinas, at Summit, obviously, coaching as well. You've been around some really great coaches. So who are some of the guys that you've been around that you're like, you know what, I'm going to, take a little bit from different places I've been at and kind of implement it in my coaching style?
Right. And like you said, I've been fortunate enough to be with some really great coaches. I would say, first off, the coach that had the most influence on me was my own dad. My dad coached me growing up, and, he was a man of integrity, and he walked the walk and talked the talk. And a lot of the way I, carry myself is because of him. And then obviously, I played for Nick Matheny up there at Summit. Nick and Mark Mercado, the defensive coordinator, were both in my wedding, so those guys, both, we're good buddies for 51 weeks out of the year now. But, those are good friends of mine. They taught me a lot up there. Coach McCarthy, really grateful for those guys. And then obviously, when I started teaching at Aquinas, Jordan Bruzig, just a phenomenal person, really a mentor to me, really good friend of mine now. I just had a real great opportunity to go coach there. And obviously, both programs they run their programs very efficiently. And it's not necessarily always about the X's and O's. It's about how you do things. And places don't make places, people make places. And I truly feel that I wouldn't have rather have it gone any other way. Really grateful for those two head coaches. Still keep in touch with them, and they just really changed my life for the better. And that's what I want to do for the next generation of athletes. I truly believe that a game with a ball and some laces on it can really change young men's lives, and it did mine. And I want to do that for people, especially in Fontana. I love the city of Fontana. I love what it has to offer, and there's a lot of talent in Fontana. And all the people in Fontana need to stay in Fontana. It's a great city, and I'm fortunate enough to have been able to coach in Fontana and surrounding areas. And those were my biggest influences. Just great men.
What was it? Just even last year, Jurupa Hills, won a CIF Southern Section title, went to a state championship game, and I think, gosh, I'm trying to remember. I think you were probably still at Summit when Jurupa Hills won a title. I think it was 2013-ish when they won a CIF title back then.
No, so that was actually I played them when I was at Western Christian my first 2 years of high school, and then I transferred to Summit. So I was just getting over to Summit, but and I know the head coach of that Jurupa Hills team too. He's a great guy, Coach McMillan, and the first CIF title, and I was fortunate enough to coach alongside with him later on down the road and coach his boy. So yeah, good times.
So, Cade, here we are, it's the month of December, we're getting ready for Christmas, but do you feel like there's some things that you could be doing right now to get ready for next season? I don't know if it's just coming up with a weight room routine, planning 7-on-7, recruiting just the kids on your campus right now to come out and play football. Like, what are some things that you can do right now?
Right, and the men in my life that are the reason why I'm coaching, they've always taught me, first things first. And that's definitely the priority. We're looking to build the program. We're looking to build the staff. My first thing that I needed to do, and I'm finishing it up this week, is meet one-on-one with all the juniors that are going to be seniors next year. The off-season training has already started for us, so we already have that planned out for the rest of the year, going all the way out through the summer. We're fortunate enough to have a really good athletic trainer there who is the best in the Inland Empire. Coach Joe Reeves, he's just an amazing guy. Coach Joe just really cares about the kids. So yeah, we're doing all that on the back half, and then obviously there's stuff behind the scenes that I got to do as a head coach and learning the ropes one day at a time. And I'm just really fortunate to have a really good support system at Jurupa Hills. We have amazing faculty, and just learning all the things that I need to do because I want to be part of the community too. I don't just want to coach football. I believe it's a community effort, and that's also stuff that I'm working on. So we got stuff that you see right away in the weight room, and then stuff in the background that I'm learning on how to do, and it's honestly so fun. It's a blessing.
All right, Cade. So, a lot of, especially first-time head coaches, but a lot of head coaches, when they make the decision to take a job, it's a decision along with their wife too, because obviously when you become a head coach, it's a lot different a lot different than just being a coordinator or an assistant coach. Everything at the end of the day, you're the end of the line. It comes down to you. Did you have to consult your wife? I know you have a beautiful young family. Like, how much did you have to consider about, man, I'm going to be home, or away from home a lot, but this is a great opportunity. What was that conversation like behind the scenes?
I'm always a big believer in whenever you coach, whenever you go somewhere, you need to have a great administrative staff, right? And I think I'm really fortunate enough, Pep, honestly, to start there because I don't even need to start. Like, my wife has always been there for me. That's not something that I ever need to really worry about. And that was one of the reasons why I married her, because she's just an amazing woman who's extremely supportive. But even with big decisions like this, this is something that we had to pray about. We had to talk about. But, she's down. She's like, Cade, whatever you want to do, let's do it. But she's always there to, keep my head level too when I need it. But, we talked about it. We went through it, and it's a team effort, and she knows the rigors of coaching. And that's why I just feel so fortunate enough to have married her, because she's so supportive of that. But again, like I said, a community effort. This is something that, hopefully now that my little man's, 2, he's going to be 3 next October, he's going to be coming to practices with me. So, I can help take a load off for the wife, and I can have the little man out there. But, I want her to get more involved in a small way, just being around. I want my athletes to know who my family are. I want them to meet them, and I want my boy to be around them as well. But really, Pep, she's been so supportive. It's something that we knew we had to pray about, because we always pray about when we make big decisions. But we also knew that no matter what, we had each other's backs. And we're going together through the whole thing, thick and thin.
Coach Sparks, not to try to go too deep, but do you feel like, being married and being a young father, you can kind of demonstrate what that should look like, to your players as well? Because we talked about, football opening doors and how football is a lot bigger than just, a pigskin out there and what happens on the field. It spills out into all areas of life. It teaches you so many different things about life, about being a husband and a brother and a father and all these different things. Do you feel like just being able to have your family maybe around the program, you can demonstrate what it could look like or should look like in your eyes?
I totally believe that can be a point of demonstration for sure. But I also believe like it's a point of accountability for myself. And I tell my athletes all the time, like, I'd be a fool if I stood up here and told you that you need to be able to handle adversity and you need to be able to handle difficult times. You need to learn how to talk to women. If I go home and I don't treat my wife with respect and my son sees that, because then I'll be a hypocrite. And that was one thing why, you asked me, greatest influences in your life. My father was the same as he was on the field, same as he was at church, same as he was at home. And I truly feel convicted that when I'm sharing a message with the team, I'm sharing it with myself. But yeah, I definitely want them to see, that you can use football for so many avenues. Shoot, the reason why I'm here now is because of football. And the reason why my buddies are where they are, who I played with, are because they knew someone through football. It's a deep connection. It really is, especially in Fontana. And, having my wife there and my kids there, yeah, I think that'd be something that I really want to do, just so they can see the accountability and the stuff that I'm telling you young men to do. This is because it's what I want you one day to have. Pep, I love football. I might die on the football field one day, but there is nothing I love more than coming home with my family. And it's because my wife, she's my rock, and she makes this place just a place of just warmth and comfort. And my kid runs to me, and I tell my athletes, like, hey, winning football games is great, but there ain't nothing better than when someone that you are raising is coming to you at the door and saying, Dad, what's up? And yeah, I want them to experience that for sure, 100%.
Yeah, it's an awesome, awesome feeling. All right, Cade, listen, I know you're a former quarterback, so I'm not going to assume that you're just going to be run and gun and throw 50 times a game. But what will the team look like this upcoming season? Does it depend on the guys that you've got on the team? Are you going to be maybe a run-first guy or put your best players on defense? Like, what kind of brand of football should we look for next season?
Yeah, you don't coach plays, you coach players. That's the big thing, and we got to find out what we're about, and we're going to find out what we're about real quick. A lot of it's just going to come through the offseason, Pep. We're going to grind it out, and we're going to go hard. And I'm a believer now more than ever. I was a believer because, I had to hand the ball off. I had to do that as a quarterback, but I love throwing the football. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't want to sit here and talk X's and O's on how we can, attack a quarter shell versus a middle field close shell. But you have to be able to run the football. You have to be able to run the football, and you have to be able to run it when you need those 2 yards. Throwing the football is great. It's fancy. I love it. It looks cool. But at the end of the day, there's nothing better than when you can impose your will on an opponent. But that's something that all starts back in the weight room. If we can't do the little things right, if we can't do simple better, well, then, Pep, we're probably not going to be able to impose our will on the opponent. And so that's just the message that we're preaching to the kids. Do the simple things better and do your job, DYJ, take care of what you need to take care of, and trust the people next to you that they're going to take care of what they need to take care of, and then the rest will come from there. So we're going to find our identity, but the main thing that's going to be back behind it is just how we attack the little details, and from there the offense will flow. All
right, and finally, Coach, is it kind of weird wearing purple instead of that summit blue? I mean, I guess at some point you have to get used to it, right?
I'm already used to it, thick all the way through. I had to throw all my blue stuff out. I'm kind of, you're wearing a blue shirt here, Pep, but in my eyes, it's black and purple and gold, baby.
There's certain guys out there, I don't know, like, for example, Kurt Bruick, right? He was at Rev for so long. To see him in gold and not red, it was like, man, it's going to take a while, but it's growing on me. I see the purple on you. It's growing on me, so I can get used to that. No doubt about that. Listen, Cade, congratulations on the new gig, man. I think you're going to be awesome out there at Jurupa Hills, and congratulations. Can't wait to see the Spartans this upcoming season.
Pep, I appreciate it. You let me know when you want to come down, and I'll get you some purple, black, and gold gear.
Let's do it, man. That is Cade Sparks, the new head football coach for Jurupa Hills, here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. Good stuff from Coach Sparks there, and yes, I am ready to rock that purple and gold. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we're going to check in with Vista Murrieta boys basketball coach Daniel Carlin, talk about his basketball journey a little bit, and also the hot start for the Broncos this season. We'll be right back here on the Inland Sports Show after this. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco. #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And as the football season wraps up across Southern California, turn to Sanitation Solutions for comprehensive laundry and athletic equipment services. They can take care of your weekly uniform laundry and end-of-season equipment inventory. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire. The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
Parents, is your young athlete training too much? Stay tuned to find out. Did you know that the recommended dosage of training hours per week should not exceed your child's age? This means that if your child is 13, they should receive no more than 13 hours of speed training, strength training, sports practice, and competition within 7 days. So, don't burn your kids out, keep development fun, and more importantly, don't be a crazy parent. Boostman.
This is Centennial Boys basketball coach Josh Giles, and you are watching the Inland Sports Show.
All right, that was Centennial head boys basketball coach Josh Giles here on the Inland Sports Show. Big thanks to Cade Sparks, the new head football coach at Jurupa Hills. Very excited for Cade and that opportunity there. Right now, though, we are talking some boys basketball, man. We've had some great non-league games as we get ready to league play. In fact, some teams are tipping off league play this week, but most teams will really get a crack into the month of January. For Vista Murrieta, the Broncos are off to an 8-1 start. Very solid, including a win last night on the road against an always tough Linfield Christian squad. The Broncos' only setback was the Rancho Cuckoos, obviously one of the better teams out there as well. Head coach Daniel Carlin joining us here on the show to talk about the Broncos' start this season and a very tough non-league schedule to get them ready for some battles in January against Murrieta Valley, Great Oak, Temecula Valley, and the rest of the league. Here is Broncos head coach Daniel Carlin on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. On the Inland Sports Show, fresh off a big road win against Linfield Christian, it's the head coach of the Vista Murrieta boys basketball team, Daniel Carlin. And coach, big win on the road down there in Temecula against a very good Lions team. What stood out to you about that victory for your Broncos?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've just been trying to build every game. Linfield is kind of the last few years been a little bit of an unofficial rivalry. Obviously not a league team, but I mean, they've given us two pretty good beatings over the last 3 years. We bumped them out of the playoffs a couple of years back. We got them last year. And so it was nice to go down there, obviously, to their place and get one and have the team keep moving forward.
Another big one coming up on Friday, right before Christmas, going up against Etiwanda, who traditionally is another one of the top programs in the Inland Empire. What did you like as a team that you guys did well against Linfield Christian that you hope carries over into this game against the Eagles?
Yeah, I think we did for probably about 75-80% of the game. I think we did a really good job of following the scout. We had some breakdowns in the first half and the end of the game, which kind of pulled it a little bit closer than we probably wanted. But knowing that, we spent some time, we looked at some film, we did our ran-throughs practice, and that when they, threw certain traps at us, certain zones at us, we were able to execute it, that the guys had a pretty good idea about personnel. We talked about as we get to whether it's the good teams in league, playoff teams, we're going to have to execute those for the entire game. And so it was a step forward for us. And so just continuing against Etiwanda, trying to, really stick to the game plan, know the scout, know the personnel, and just try to keep being, who we're trying to get to. Etiwanda is obviously a great team. And so we're excited about that matchup and the challenge that we get. And it's kind of one of the games we've got circled on our calendar, just knowing that it's guaranteed to be a high quality opponent. And so, I know all the coaches and all the boys are looking forward to Friday.
So, Coach, playing these really good teams in non-league action, is it part of the, I hate to use it as a cliche, but part of the process, part of the building up to get to Southwestern League play? Because we know Temecula Valley, Murrieta Valley, Great Oak, I mean, every single night you guys take the floor in Southwestern League play, it's going to be a battle. There's a lot of good teams, a lot of good coaches. So non-league, is that important to you guys so you kind of feel like you're peaking at the right time?
Yeah, I think we got to have those games to kind of know where we're at. Tournaments, we try to get into good tournaments and hopefully get some good games, but it's sometimes it's hit and miss. You got to rely on, what division they're going to put you in or, what the matchups are going to be like. And so anytime you can get these singles, obviously we had Ranch Cucamonga early. We didn't have Lawrence Sanford for that one. So again, I think had we had him available, maybe that one's a bit closer. Obviously Etiwanda, traditionally being one of the top teams in our area, that if we can get teams like that are the same caliber or perhaps better than some of the top league teams, you have to actually see where you're at because, we've got a good group and we've played some teams that are solid and we've had some big wins. But as far as, those other teams we talk about, we're going to be ready for like our first 3 games in league is Temecula Valley, Great Oak, and then Murrieta Valley. So there's nothing easy, and we've probably maybe, I don't know if I would say peaked too early the last couple of years, or just maybe have enjoyed our early success too much and then have got to league and have kind of gotten a bit of a rude awakening at certain points. And so we've been really intentional this year about building for January, building for February, and trying to make sure that our, everything is a building block along the way to getting to those big goals that we're trying to achieve.
All right, Coach, we'll stay on the topic of non-league basketball and early season tournaments. I think I got the name right. Murrieta Mania. I think I got it right. So you guys were hosting. You had, I think, more than one team from Australia. Is that correct?
We had one team from Australia, and then I had a separate team that came out right afterwards and played us. So we did play 2 Australians back-to-back. One was in tournament, one was out of tournament.
So if people are listening to you and they're like, hey, he's not from around here. So how did that all come together, getting teams from Australia to come out here to the Inland Empire and Vista Murrieta specifically to play your Broncos?
Yeah, well, what's funny, obviously I'm Australian. And what's funny is I think everyone automatically assumes like, oh, these just must be all my like friends from back home that are coming over to play. But they both ended up being fairly random. But then there were actually some more connections, particularly the second game against St. Ignatius. We just post our games on CIF like everyone else does. And there's a couple of Australian tour groups that just kind of reached out to us and said, hey, like we need some games. The St. Ignatius team that we played last week, it was funny, the guy that reached out to me He didn't realize it was me at the start, but I actually did a tour with him over to the States in 2011. And then it turned out that when they got over, that their head coach, who was an Australian, I actually played against in the NBL in Australia. And he was also a teammate of Nick Quick, my assistant coach at UCSB. So we kind of realized that, oh, maybe there are all these connections, but it was just a little bit random. In fact, one of the organizers, when he emailed me initially, he was asking, hey, we're his team from Australia, you want to come out, get some games? And like I do, I kind of just call everyone mate. And so I said, hey, mate, yeah, that'd be great. We'd love to have you. We still got some spots. And I think he thought, because he was Australian, that I was just calling him mate. And so we had kind of an awkward email interaction. But once I explained to him, I was like, no, I'm actually Australian. I just happen to, be out in Murrieta. It was a cool connection. So it was fun to hang out with some Aussies, get a little bit of taste of home the last couple of weeks.
That's amazing. That's a great story. Coach, maybe you're familiar with David Patrick. He was the head coach at UC Riverside for a while. He's from, obviously, Australia. I know CBU's had a pipeline of guys from that part of the world as well, including New Zealand down there. Where would you say the level of basketball is there? You mentioned the NBL. I mean, that's a great level of basketball. I mean, that's a great professional league. But even maybe like at the high school level, going up into university, we've had great players go through CBU. I've seen it firsthand. Is Australia and US pretty comparable? Are they pretty close? I mean, like the competition of the high school teams that came out to your, to play your Broncos, was it pretty even, or how would you kind of gauge that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of quality basketballers in Australia. There's obviously some real kind of high level schools and schools that focus really on producing that. I think we had two pretty good teams out here. St. Ignatius played us a little bit closer than Knox Grammar did, but Knox Grammar, their big kind of unfortunately got sick throughout the week, so not quite as healthy. But yeah, I mean, I think that the teams we played, they're a good Southern California high school team. Mm-hmm. They're probably not the same levels as those top, the Roosevelts or the St. John Boscos, sure, those type of levels, but there's not as many players to go around, but there's definitely some good teams that when they come out here, it's good comp. And it's funny just kind of looking around. It seems like there are actually a lot of Australian games that were getting played throughout the last couple of weeks. And so I'm sure a lot of coaches did get to see some good Aussie basketball.
Yeah, maybe while these teams are out here, they're getting recruited, some of these Australian kids to come play out here in the States.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big piece of it. And
yeah.
To get that exposure in there, I mean, definitely some kids that are worth it. And then it's sometimes it can be a little bit of a blessing and a curse. I think that Australian basketball, it's people are pretty hot on it, or have been probably the last decade or so. And so when you're all the way over the other side of the world, if you have some good film, people just kind of be like, all right, well, they must be good. Obviously, when you see someone in person, you can either kind of confirm or deny that. But I mean, they had some great guys. Knox had a 6'5", 6'6" point guard that should definitely be a college basketball player. St. Ignatius had a lot of great kids that were, worthy of playing somewhere out here. So a lot of good kids. They play hard. I think they, try to play the right way. So yeah, definitely great exposure for them, as well as just the experience of making the trip to the other side of the world.
Mm-hmm. Coach, one question, but kind of two parts to it is, growing up, who are some basketball players that you looked up to? I don't know if they're Aussies, Andrew Bogut, Patty Mills, come to mind. And also the second part of the question is, like, who are some of your coaching influences? Who are some of the guys at the coaching level that's had an impact on the way that you coach now?
Yeah, I mean, my first ever basketball jersey was a Andrew Bogut Milwaukee Bucks jersey. And so I think, being an Aussie that went number one in the draft, obviously you follow him. Patty Mills, I think that when he's retired from basketball, probably should be the Prime Minister of Australia. It's hard to find a more popular guy, and just someone that I think if you ask me, like, who represents Australia well, just on a global stage, I think that he embodies everything that we want to be about as a country. And so I love him. I mean, my favorite player of all time is Carmelo Anthony. And so, I think kind of 2003 was when I really got into the NBA and watching that draft class. And Watching him on the Nuggets and the Knicks was always something that I enjoyed attempting to emulate. I was a bit more of a big than the small forward that he was, but I had a lot of fun watching him. As far as the coaching stuff, I mean, I was fortunate to have a bunch of really good coaches just throughout my entire career. And so I think that's a part of why I wanted to be able to give back. John Moore, who is my coach at Westmont, that's now the assistant coach at USD. Phenomenal coach, phenomenal relationship that I had with him. And in terms of someone that was obviously a basketball guy at a higher level, but I think really just valued people and the relationships, that was something that, made me really want to pursue it. I had a bunch of great coaches back home. I mean, not a name that anyone's going to know here, but Scott Whitmore coached me for many years back in Australia. And again, just as a guy that cared, that when I first kind of came in for a kind of semi-professional experience, he was the head coach at the club. And he was really focused on bringing in a lot of good older guys to the club. So, I mean, his coaching, but also the guys he brought in to help mentor me. I don't think my basketball journey would have been anything alike had it, not been for him. Obviously, there's all the college guys that you try to watch and pick their brains and see different things. And so, whether it's you trying to read about Coach K and what he was doing at Duke or UCLA, Eric Musselman is a guy that I've kind of been following the last few years at Arkansas, and then obviously now over at USC and a bit more local. So, I think now being on the other side of playing, I probably watch more for the coaching and the kind of the tactics than I do just kind of individual player performances. But yeah, no, I mean, John Moore is a huge influence. And then just, there's too many to name that really contributed to why I'm doing what I'm doing now.
And finally, Coach, man, nobody has more fun on social media than you guys. So when you guys pick up a win, we know about it. I think I don't know if I've talked about this, but we've messaged about it before. About high school basketball is supposed to be fun, and you guys make it fun on social media, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think a part of it. I mean, the kids enjoy it, whether it's the guys in our team or just our student body. It's always fun to just get people excited about it. I've had a couple of coaches tell me, "Hey, I really hope we beat you because I don't want to end up on one of these memes." But no, it's fun. We try to have a good time with it. I think just the social media part of it. It's kind of a part of the full experience that just is sports right now, and so. We get to have a good laugh with it.
Well, I'll say this. Every team that's relevant out there has a social media account. Everyone's posting, their graphics and their video and pictures and stuff. But you guys really set yourself apart because you have fun with it. And I think at least, the high school kids probably love it. I love it too, but I'm sure the high school kids love it. So.
Yeah, that's the goal. As long as they love it, and if it gets kids talking and coming out to the games and supporting us, then ultimately that's the best piece of it.
Well, Coach, congrats on the strong start. Big win again on the road at Linfield Christian. You got another road game coming up against Etowanda, and before you know it, we'll be in the new year, Southwestern League play, and that's going to be some real battles down there. So, Coach, thank you for jumping on the Inland Sports Show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
That's Daniel Carlin, the head basketball coach for your Vista Murrieta Broncos. Inland Sports. Man, that was fun. Good checking in with Coach Carlin down there at Vista Murrieta High School. When we come back here on this edition of the Inland Sports Show, we're going to hear from Daron Tyson, the San Gorgonio football and track and field star, plus some high school soccer and high school girls basketball when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show right after this. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And as the football season wraps up across Southern California, turn to Sanitation Solutions for comprehensive laundry and athletic equipment services. They can take care of your weekly uniform laundry and end-of-season equipment inventory. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire.
Hey guys, this is Jason at Ken Sporting Goods. We're almost to 1,000 Instagram followers. Tell your friends, like us, come down, see us. Thank you so much for your loyalty.
Want to know the best type of recovery for athletes at zero cost? I'm talking about sleep, of course. As an athlete, good sleep can help you reduce your risk of injury, improve your strength and power output, as well as improve your overall work capacity. It also helps you bounce back quickly from the stress of competition. As a student, adequate sleep can help boost your mood, cognition, productivity, and relationships. Bottom line, don't sleep on sleep. Boostman.
Unfolding exactly how we thought it would happen, that in the NFC West, the Rams and the Seahawks are now both 8-6, but technically the Rams have beat the Seahawks head-to-head, so the Rams would be the first-place teams out of the NFC West with 3 games to go, and again, Seattle and the Rams will play in the final week of the regular season. Patrick, it's probably going to come down to that final game, but the Rams the Rams beat the 49ers. The Seattle Seahawks lost a tough one against the Packers on Sunday Night Football, and that's what brought us to this.
And then we got to play the Vikings, and Geno Smith got hurt. His knees hurt. Sam Howell came in and played terrible. I mean, I'll give it to Green Bay. We looked like we didn't even belong on the field against Green Bay. They controlled the game completely, not just Geno Smith, who, of course, threw another red zone pick, and I was screaming at the television, but we just did not look good overall. I mean, yes, we made some plays, but it was not happening, man, and I definitely have that sinking feeling. Uh-oh.
All right, Patrick, let's talk about the Heisman Trophy ceremony on Saturday. The best two-way player in the game from Colorado, Travis Hunter, is your Heisman Trophy winner this season. Still a lot of backlash on Twitter, a.k.a. X, about Ashton Jeanty from Boise State. Should be, they call him the people's champion, right? The people's Heisman winner, because everyone thought he was more deserving than Travis Hunter. But, Travis Hunter had a great year on offense, one of the best, if not the best defensive back, in the country. So it's hard to argue against Travis Hunter, but I see why, including myself, people wanted Ashton Jeanty from Boise State.
Right. I think because the knock against Ashton, I should say, is that they say he didn't play against great competition. And a lot of the numbers that Travis Hunter got was against not so good a competition. So that's why people are kind of pissing and moaning a little bit. I really wanted Ashton Jeanty to win as well. But I have to admit, because I watched the whole ceremony, just like I did last year with our boy Jaden Daniels, but Travis Hunter does kind of come off like a good kid. He got very emotional when he talked about his father. I had to admit, I thought his speech was very good.
Sports. Well, just hanging out with my boy Patrick in the morning on KCal 96.7 FM every Monday and Thursday morning. Check it out if you love sports. Check it out. Patrick is a big sports fan as well. His sons play basically every single sport. He's a Seattle guy, so he loves his Seahawks and his Mariners. So check it out every Monday and Thursday, KCal 96.7 FM. Right now, we're going to talk a little high school football. We just had National Signing Day, really that early period, right, for a lot of high school football players. And Daron Tyson from San Gorgonio signing with Utah Tech to play Division I football. And remember, Daron Tyson's also one of the fastest guys in the Southern section. He's hoping to win a CIF title this spring on the track as well. Here is San G's Daron Tyson.
It for sure lays a load off your shoulders, but I still have goals to accomplish at this high school. So my job isn't finished yet. So it's just another great thing accomplished, but it all comes from the glory of God. And yeah, it's just time to move on.
What was it about Utah Tech? What did you like about the program, the coaches, the city, the school? I mean, what did you like about it?
They're really faith-based. And I really love that. And the other programs that were interested in me, they weren't on the same step, like the steps I was going towards in life. And I took the decision to go to Utah Tech because really it's just like they really understand how it is to be out here in San Bernardino. They know how hard it is, and they understand that I'm not just another number. I'm a kid that stood out, and they're willing to take that chance with me.
That's awesome. Daron, have they talked about how they're going to use you? Like, are you a receiver? Are you a defensive back? Are you going to return kicks maybe? Like, how are they going to use you?
You will see me all over the field. I'll be used the same way I was used here. So that's just another great thing that was brought to me at that school. They gave me the opportunity to play all over the field, and I'm just not stuck at one position, and I love that.
That was my follow-up question. Was that exciting for you as a player that, you know, they obviously have a lot of confidence in you that they can put you in a lot of different positions and you're going to be making plays out there. Is that exciting that they have that confidence in you?
Yes, sir, most definitely. It made my heart jump a little bit when they first initially gave me the offer, but I knew that it was God's plan. So it's just willing to move forward from here.
Was that always the goal, is to get a football scholarship?
Not just football. I wanted a football and track scholarship, but at the end of the day, I got football. I could be a walk-on for track, so I still got stuff to do. So,
well, you'd be one heck of a walk-on because I was just talking to Coach Matthews over here, and he thinks you got a good shot at winning a CIF championship on the track as well this upcoming season.
Yes, sir. It just takes a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of work this year. I'm willing to do the extra work to get better and accomplish those goals.
You know, looking back at last year, obviously, you know, Javen Sawyer was a CIF champion in the 100. Does that fuel you to be another San G guy, bring home a CIF championship on the track?
Most definitely. That's one of my brothers. I consider him one of my brothers. So it just pushes me even more to just like I want to beat his record. So that's my main goal, man. Is just to beat it, not for bragging rights, but just to say like that's how much work it takes to get to the point where you need to be. I want to get back to the CIF finals. I want to run a 10-4, and I want to be able to run the mid to low 21s in the 200. So those are my main goals right now for the track season. And I also want to break the school record in the 4x1, but I can't just do it by myself. It requires a team.
And we've got a lot more with Daron Tyson and the San Gorgonio track and field team right now on IEMG Sports Weekly, so you can check that out. Let's talk some high school soccer league play kicking off for a lot of local teams this week, including the Ivy League and the Raincross Conference, and what a huge match right out of the gate. It's the Ken Sporting Goods must-see game as the Arlington Lions will play host to the Valley View Eagles tomorrow night. That's Thursday night, 7 p.m. kickoff from A-Town, as the Lions, who went all the way to the Open Division Championship match last year, continue their hot start this year, which included the Citrus Hill Winter Classico. And Arlington right now 5-0-2 on the season. Valley View 4-1-1. The Eagles and the Lions play to a 3-3 tie at the Citrus Hill tournament. Now we get the rematch, so we're going to see it twice this year in Ivy League play. It's the Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. Valley View and Arlington on Thursday night, man. We got some great games coming up in Ivy League play. You mix in Pauley, Paloma Valley, Hemet, and who am I missing? Citrus Hill, of course. So Ivy League's going to be awesome this year for boys soccer. Speaking of boys soccer, we had a big one on IEMG this past week that we had live on the Inland Empire Media Group YouTube channel. It was Rialto taking on Indian Springs. The Knights getting a couple big goals in the second half for a 3-1 result. Here's some of the highlights. The Coyotes bench looking on. Their team trailing 1-0. Looks like the Coyotes with a couple good looks here. Still trailing by the goal. Moss, the left-footed shot. And in. There is the equalizer for Indian Springs. Abrego takes it. The Knights storm right back. Oh, nice move on the left side. Left-footed strike into the box, and that one is in. The goal for Rialto. What a strike from the left side. The left-footed shot gives the Knights the lead. And the Rialto Knights have gained the upper hand here against Indian Springs. It's now a 2-1 game. I would hazard to guess we probably have a couple minutes to play here. Fighting inside, cross into the box, and in for another Rialto goal. This time it's going to be number 9, Giovanni Martinez, as the Knights go up 3-1, and that may seal the deal for Rialto. As Rialto on the far side of the field is going to come away from Indian Springs with a 3-1 victory, so the Knights will improve to 5-0 on the season. The Coyotes dropping their first match of the year. They'll drop to 2-1-1. Yeah, that was a real good one. That was live on IEMG. If you'd like to watch the entire game, you can find it right now on the Inland Empire Media Group YouTube channel. Let's talk some high school basketball right now. And it was a massive game for Roosevelt star Braden Burries against Inglewood. You know, Roosevelt, one of the top teams not only in the state, but the entire nation right now. They're 8-1 on the season. Picked up a huge win against Inglewood, and Braden Burries was a big reason why. Inland Sports. It's our big boost play of the week. Braden Burries going for a school record 56 points against Inglewood. He was doing it from the outside, the inside, mid-range. It did not matter. Braden Burries was bearing buckets. Alliteration right there. And that's our big boost play of the week as the Mustangs defeated Inglewood 111-92. A very high scoring game. And obviously Braden Burries was a big reason why. Going for a school record 56. So not only is Roosevelt one of the top teams in the entire nation, Braden is one of the top players in the entire nation. So that's our big boost play of the week. And how about girls hoops as well? I was recently out at the Redlands East Valley girls basketball tournament and ran into my old pal, Sid Lara. He's a video teacher at Riverside Poly High School and also a longtime basketball coach. Had a lot of success on the East Coast coaching boys basketball. He's been at Riverside Poly for a while now, coaching the girls. And they're in the Ivy League this season. And if you're in the Ivy League, that means you've got to play Moreno Valley and Rancho Christian a couple times, and they're two of the top teams in the inland area, period. And so Riverside Poly out there at the Rev tournament, getting better, putting in some good minutes to get some good wins to get them ready for Ivy League play, which is going to be very daunting with some really good competition coming up. Here's my pal, Sid Lara.
Moreno Valley does as well. They do a little bit more man-to-man. So we have to kind of get an idea of what types of teams we're going to be up against, and then try and get our kids to understand that each game is going to be different, each opponent is going to be different, but their ability to be able to read what goes on the court has to be the same process, so that they can execute what we need them to execute with limited practice time.
Awesome. Sid, anything else you'd like to add? Anything you didn't mention?
I think this, looking into the season, we're very young. I'm excited about the group that we have moving forward, because it gives us an opportunity to build with some young players and go out there and compete. That's all that we really want them to do, is go out there and compete, do their best. In our situation, we have to really depend on player development in our situation, and so moving forward, I want each game that progresses, each season that progresses, that they show improvement individually and collectively. And I think that our future is promising in the next couple of years because we have a good group of young girls who are dedicating themselves to be good players. So I'm looking forward to the future of Poly basketball.
Well, Riverside Poly girls basketball will open up Ivy League play tomorrow night. If you're watching this live on Wednesday night, it's tomorrow night. Thursday night, they will play on the road at Rancho Christian. So a huge league test right out of the gate for Coach Lara and the Bears. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the Inland Sports Show. A big thanks to our special guest tonight, Cade Sparks, the new head football coach at Jurupa Hills, and Daniel Carlin, the Vista Murrieta boys basketball coach. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're a local business or organization out there that would like to promote here on the Inland Sports Show and support local sports in the inland area. Hit us up, inlandsportshow@gmail.com, or you can find us on any of our social media platforms and send us a message there as well. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. Good night.